I spent 35 years telling patients their bloating was stress, their fatigue was age, their skin problems were unrelated to digestion.
And?
I was wrong about nearly all of it.
You're getting better at admitting that, lass.
It took me 6 months of my own gut problems to understand what my patients were telling me the whole time. I'm Morag MacGregor. I retired 2 years ago after 35 years as a general practitioner. In those years, I prescribed fibre supplements, antispasmodics, and acid reducers to thousands of patients with digestive problems. I never once asked about the lining of their intestines. Walking, 5-segment.
And I'm Angus, her husband. I grew up on this croft. My grandmother treated gut problems the way people treated them for centuries, with roots and knowledge of how the body actually works.
She was right. Most of what I prescribed treated symptoms, not causes. What changed my mind was understanding the intestinal barrier. The lining of your digestive tract is not just a tube. It's a selective filter. It's your first immune defense. And when it fails, when it becomes permeable, everything changes. Flow 3. Close-up knowledge, roots and hands. Detail.
Gran called it a weakened belly. She never used fancy words.
She understood it perfectly. 8 specific roots. Each one addresses different parts of why that barrier breaks down. And every single one grows here, or did once, or can be found and brought home. Flow 4. Partnership and philosophy. Wide landscape moment, 5-segment. That's what matters, not exotic cost, not whether a corporation sells it, whether it actually works.
These roots work. And everything you're about to learn came from watching her understand what her grandmother knew all along. Flow 5. Science Deep Dive. Intestinal Barrier Explanation.
When the intestinal barrier breaks down, it's the tight junctions that fail. These are the gatekeepers between cells. When they weaken, molecules cross that shouldn't. Food particles, bacteria, lipopolysaccharides all trigger immune responses.
So Gran was fixing the gates.
Exactly. That's all healing is, restoring function. 8 roots, 8 different mechanisms, but all of them working on the same problem at the foundation level. Flow 6. Ancient archive. Grandmother's legacy. Knowledge.
I've only just begun matching her observations against what's being published in peer-reviewed journals now. The science keeps confirming what she already knew, every single entry.
That's the entire story. Traditional medicine wasn't folklore. It was meticulous observation over centuries, refined through thousands of individual cases.
We didn't lose the knowledge because it didn't work. We lost it because we stopped asking the people who knew. Right then, first root. And this one you see everywhere in Scotland, but most people treat it as a weed.
Dandelion.
Dandelion. My grandmother pulled it from the garden every spring, made a root tea, drank it before her heaviest meals. She was addressing bile production directly.
The root contains inulin, a prebiotic that feeds healthy bacteria, and bitter compounds that trigger bile release from the liver.
Bile is your body's natural detergent. It breaks down fat so you can absorb them. Without enough bile, you get bloating, fatty stools, fatigue.
That's exactly what patients reported. I just never connected it to bile.
You pull the whole plant in autumn. The root is the prize. Wash it, slice it thin, roast it low and slow until it's dark brown. Looks like a poor cousin of coffee.
The roasting intensifies the bitter compounds. It also makes the inulin more bioavailable.
Gran just said it made it taste better. She was right about that too. 1 teaspoon of roasted root per cup. Steep 5 minutes. Drink it 20 minutes before a meal.
One thing, dandelion is a diuretic. It pulls water. If you're not drinking extra water, you'll feel tired.
If you're eating something heavy, fat, meat, this is your preparation. This is what you take first.
Bile is the overlooked enzyme. Most people focus on stomach acid, pancreatic enzymes, but without adequate bile, you can't emulsify fats. And you need fats for hormone production, brain function, nutrient absorption.
So a person eats a fatty meal, but their body can't process it.
Exactly. It sits there, ferments, creates gas, bloating, that heavy, uncomfortable feeling. Dandelion accelerates bile release before the meal arrives. It's preventive.
If you can't grow it, you can find it.
I prescribed acid reducers for 30 years. For reflux, for ulcers, for chronic stomach pain. Hundreds of patients. I never once understood that acid is not the problem. A damaged stomach lining is.
And a damaged lining is what you get when you don't have the protective coating. Is that right?
Exactly. The stomach produces a mucus layer, a veil of protection. When that layer is thin or damaged, everything feels like acid damage.
Licorice root. Gran grew it in pots. She said the root itself, not the candy, had power for a troubled belly.
The root contains glycyrrhizin and flavonoids that stimulate the production of mucin, literally the substance that coats and protects the stomach lining. It also has anti-inflammatory compounds that reduce the irritation underneath.
She didn't know those words, but she knew what worked. She gave it to my father when he had stomach ulcers. Healed him in weeks.
That's remarkable. I would have put him on a PPI, proton pump inhibitor, for years, possibly indefinitely.
And that would have weakened his lining further over time. This healed it from the inside out. Whole root. 1 small piece about the size of your thumb, steeped in hot water for 10 minutes. Drink it warm, once or twice a day, but not for months on end. Use it when you need it.
There's a caveat here. Licorice contains compounds that can raise blood pressure if taken internally for long periods. That's why I emphasize restraint. But there's a processed form called DGL, deglycyrrhizinated licorice, where the problematic compounds are removed. Chewable tablets, 1 or 2 before meals, but not indefinitely either. What haunts me is how many people I failed to help because I didn't understand this. 35 years of prescribing PPIs that actually worsened the underlying condition.
You understand now.
That's the only comfort. Licorice doesn't just coat, it stimulates the body's own repair mechanisms. It teaches the stomach to make its own protective layer again. That's the difference between treatment and healing.
Gran didn't know about Ayurveda or Chinese herbalism, but licorice is central to both. Different language, same understanding of how the body works.
That's the strongest validation. When isolated cultures with no contact develop the same solution, you're looking at truth, not coincidence.
Licorice for the lining. That was Gran's core teaching. Use it when you need it. Marshmallow. The plant, not the sweet. This one does something the others don't. It coats. It wraps. Gran said it was like linseed oil on wood. Protective, sealing, restoring.
What's that?
The root contains mucilage, polysaccharides that form a gel when wet. That gel creates a physical barrier between the irritated lining and the contents of the intestine.
The preparation is critical. If you use hot water, you destroy the mucilage structure. That's the mistake most people make.
The root must be steeped in cold water overnight.
Exactly. The polysaccharide chains remain intact in cold water. In hot water, they denature. Cold extraction preserves the medicine.
1 tablespoon of dried root per cup of cold water. Pour it in the evening. Leave it covered overnight on the windowsill where the moonlight reaches. Drink it the next morning, root pieces and all.
The gel is the medicine. Don't strain it out. The polysaccharides themselves are what create the protective coating. You have to use it consistently. A few days won't do it. Weeks, maybe months.
Most modern people want it fast, instant. But this one rewards patience. The longer you commit, the thicker the protection.
Mucilage polysaccharides are hydrocolloids. They hydrate and expand, creating a thick gel layer that adheres to the intestinal wall. It's not a temporary coating, it stays. It protects the lining underneath while it heals.
So you're not treating the symptom, you're creating the conditions for the body to repair itself.
Exactly. That's the fundamental difference between medicine as treatment and medicine as healing support.
Marshmallow is powerful, but Gran knew others too. Slippery elm, plantain, chickweed. Each has slightly different polysaccharide composition.
But they all work on the same principle. Protective coating while the barrier repairs itself. Marshmallow is the strongest, which is why we start there. But if someone can't tolerate it for some reason, alternatives exist.
That's the real knowledge. Not one thing. Options. Understanding.
This one I want to introduce because it addresses a different problem entirely. Not the lining, but the movement.
Movement?
Gastric motility. How fast your stomach empties, how fast things move through your intestines. If that's slow, everything backs up. Bloating, fermentation, bacterial overgrowth.
Gran used ginger for that too, but I didn't know that's what she was treating.
Ginger contains gingerols, compounds that enhance muscular contractions in the stomach and small intestine. Studies show it accelerates gastric emptying by 30 to 40%. It also settles the stomach if there's nausea.
She kept rhizomes in a cool, dark place. Pulled one out when someone complained of heaviness. Shredded it fresh into hot water with a squeeze of lemon.
At least 2 grams of fresh ginger per dose. That's roughly an inch of root sliced thin. You feel it working immediately.
Fresh ginger, 1 inch sliced, steeped in hot water for 10 minutes. Drink it warm, preferably 20 minutes before a meal. It prepares the stomach.
If it's too strong for you, and ginger can be quite hot, add honey and lemon. The honey has its own digestive benefits, and the lemon acid helps with mineral absorption.
She always said ginger was better when it was hot going down. Made you feel it working.
Motility is the rhythm of the digestive system. If it's too slow, food ferments. If it's irregular, you get cramping. Ginger gingerols directly stimulate the smooth muscle of the stomach and small intestine, increasing the force and frequency of contractions.
So it's like priming a pump.
Precisely. Without adequate motility, you can have the best food in the world and still not digest it properly. This is where most people fail. They focus on the food, ignore the movement.
Gran preferred fresh when it was available. Harvest season through winter. Once spring comes and the roots dry out, she'd use the dried roots from storage.
There's a reason. Fresh ginger has volatile oils and fresh gingerols that are more readily bioavailable. The drying process concentrates some compounds but loses others. Both have value, but fresh is more potent for immediate motility support.
That's why timing matters. Fresh is for the season you have it. Dried is for when you need to stretch it. Burdock is different. It doesn't work fast. It works slow. Gran grew burdock. She said it was food, not medicine. She harvested the roots in autumn, prepared them as a vegetable.
Slow is actually better for bacterial health. Most people expect immediate results. The microbiome doesn't work that way. The root contains inulin, the same prebiotic as dandelion, but in much higher concentration. It's genuinely food. Prebiotics are food for beneficial bacteria. When you feed good bacteria, they multiply and crowd out harmful ones. But this takes weeks, not days.
That's the difference between food and supplement. Food works with your body, not against it. Scrub it first, don't peel it. The skin has nutrients. Slice it thin, about as thick as a coin.
The texture matters. Too thick and it stays woody. Too thin and it loses structure. This is the right thickness.
Sauté it in sesame oil with a touch of soy sauce. Takes 15 minutes.
The sesame oil contains lignans, compounds that further support beneficial bacteria. And the sauté brings out the sweetness in the root, making it genuinely pleasant to eat. The benefit accumulates. Eat it once a week, you feel something. Eat it twice a week for a month, you feel significant difference in digestion.
Not instant, but real. And that's how Gran worked.
Prebiotics are not probiotics. You're not introducing new bacteria, you're feeding the beneficial ones that already live there.
So it's about feeding what's good, not importing something foreign.
Exactly. Burdock inulin preferentially feeds bifidobacteria and fecalibacterium, species that produce butyrate, the fuel that heals the intestinal barrier. It's elegant. Food, not intervention.
That's what people miss. The medicine is in the food. Not separate, not a supplement bottle. The root you harvest and...
This one is different from the others. It doesn't work on the intestines specifically. It works on inflammation itself.
Inflammation is the problem then?
Inflammation is the driver. When your intestinal lining is inflamed, it becomes permeable. When inflammation spreads, it affects your skin, your joints, your mood. Turmeric addresses the root of that.
And Gran used it?
She couldn't have. Turmeric doesn't grow in Scotland. But your family would have had access to it through trade. Spice merchants brought it north centuries ago.
Gran said inflammation was the enemy, not the symptom. She just didn't call it that.
Over 200 peer-reviewed studies on curcumin and intestinal inflammation. The evidence is consistent. She was right. Curcumin is poorly absorbed on its own. You need fat and heat and black pepper to activate it. Boiling water with turmeric, fat, milk or oil, and black pepper. Heat activates the curcumin. Fat helps absorption. Pepper contains piperine, which increases bioavailability by 40 times.
Every evening?
Every evening for at least a month before you notice change. Then you can assess. Some people continue it. Some find they don't need it once the inflammation base level drops. 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder in warm milk, cow's milk, coconut milk, oat milk, any will do, with a pinch of black pepper and a touch of honey. Drink it warm in the evening.
That's how Gran worked. Consistent, gentle, every single day.
Intestinal inflammation is the starting point, but it doesn't stay confined there. Lipopolysaccharides cross the damaged barrier, enter the bloodstream, trigger immune activation throughout the body. That's why people with gut problems develop skin issues, joint pain, brain fog, fatigue.
So treating the gut treats everything.
Not directly treats, removes the source. Once the intestinal barrier is restored and inflammation base level drops, the body's own repair mechanisms resolve the downstream manifestations. Turmeric addresses this directly. Curcumin crosses the blood-brain barrier.
This preparation exists everywhere turmeric grows or travels. Ayurveda calls it golden milk. Southeast Asia has it in different forms. Gran had her own version using what was available here.
The constancy across cultures is the validation. Different people, different continents, same plant, same understanding of its power.
Slippery elm, the inner bark. Because it's not patented, because it grows freely, because a tree gives it away if you know how to ask.
I've heard of this, but I never prescribed it. I don't know why.
That would be exactly why. A tree is stronger than a patent.
I don't know why. That would be exactly why. We've been taught not to trust what isn't patented.
Gran knew both. She had different tools for different problems.
The inner bark contains mucilage, the same type as marshmallow, but in a different chemical form. It's more adhesive. It sticks to the intestinal lining and stays there longer.
You harvest the inner bark in spring. Strip it carefully. Take only what you need. Leave the outer bark to protect the tree. Dry it in the shade, never in direct sun. Once it's dry, you can powder it. 1 tablespoon of powder per cup of hot water. Stir it until it becomes a gruel.
Drink it warm before bed.
The timing matters. Spring bark has higher mucilage content than autumn bark because of the water movement in the tree. The warmth carries it down. The gruel sticks where it needs to.
Gran always said spring was when the tree was most generous. She was describing water movement without those words. That's the difference between traditional medicine and modern medicine. See how it adheres? That's the mechanism. It doesn't just coat and wash away. The mucilage is sticky by design. It stays on the intestinal surface for hours.
So you're not just temporarily coating it, you're creating sustained protection.
Exactly. And that sustained protection allows the underlying epithelial cells to repair themselves without constant re-injury. The immune system can downregulate. True healing becomes possible.
You don't take the whole tree. You take a section, strip carefully, leave the protection. A tree can survive this and thrive.
That's what's missing from industrial herbalism, the relationship to the plant. It's not a factory input, it's a living being that's generously sharing its medicine.
Gran taught me, take only in spring, take only what you need, always leave the tree better than you found it. That's how you maintain the resource and maintain your own integrity.
This last one is the strongest bitter. And bitter is important because most modern diets have eliminated it.
Why would you want bitter?
Bitter taste triggers a cascade of digestive secretions. Your mouth begins producing more saliva. Your stomach increases acid production. Your pancreas releases more digestive enzymes. Your liver and gallbladder prepare for the work of digestion.
You're preparing the body for food.
Exactly. Most people take supplements that reduce stomach acid. But stomach acid is not the enemy. Weak acid is the enemy. Weak digestive fire is the problem.
Gran had a bottle of this, a tiny thing. She'd put a few drops on her tongue before meals if she felt weak. 15 to 20 drops of gentian tincture in a little water, taken 15 to 20 minutes before your main meal.
Traditional bitter herbs were removed from modern medicine because we decided they were unpleasant. But traditional medicine understood that a substance can taste bad and still be effective. The bitterness is the medicine.
If it tasted good, it wouldn't work. That's the whole point.
If you're on blood-thinning medication, ask your doctor first. Gentian can interact. But this is where less is genuinely more. The vagus nerve is the major conduit. Bitter taste on the tongue is detected by specialized receptors, TAS2Rs. This signals the vagus nerve. The vagus fires, your entire digestive system upregulates. Production.
It's like giving an order to the body to prepare.
Precisely. Gentian is a command. 20 to 30 minutes before food arrives, you've already initiated digestive secretion. The food enters a prepared system, not a dormant one.
Gentian grows in alpine areas, high altitude, thin soil, harsh conditions. That's where the bitterness concentrates.
Stress in the plant creates the medicine. That's a principle that shows up everywhere in herbalism.
The plant that survives difficulty becomes stronger, becomes more medicine. It's teaching a lesson about hardship and adaptation.
So, 8 roots. And the question everyone asks, where do you start?
Marshmallow. Start with the protection, fix the barrier first, then add turmeric in the evening. It addresses inflammation systemically while the marshmallow is protecting locally.
He's right. A damaged lining is the foundation of every other digestive problem. Marshmallow addresses that directly. Cold infusion, overnight, 2 weeks minimum before you assess. Ginger comes third. Once the lining is stabilizing and inflammation is decreasing, you need motility to improve so things move through normally. The others, dandelion, burdock, gentian, slippery elm, they're supportive. You bring them in as the foundation roots settle and do their work.
What's important is that you don't do all 8 at once. Overwhelm your body with too many plants, and you can't tell which one is helping or causing a reaction.
That's the real difference between folk medicine and modern medicine. Not whether it works, but whether you understand your own body's response to it.
Traditional medicine understood pacing. It wasn't rushed. It was methodical.
The intestinal barrier isn't separate from the rest of your health. It's foundational. It's why your grandmother knew that gut health was where everything begins.
Most people look for one cure, one root that fixes everything. But the body doesn't work that way, and roots that have been teaching people the same lessons for centuries are worth listening to.
If this kind of content is useful to you, roots and science, traditional knowledge and modern understanding woven together, subscribe. 1 new video every week. We have much more to share.
And we want to hear from you. Which of these 8 are you starting with? What's your gut been telling you? We do. I read them while she's preparing the next batch of roots.
Leave it in the comments. We read every one. Truly, best part of his day. The question people ask is, how long? The real answer is, it depends. Some people notice changes in 2 weeks. Others take 3 months. But the pattern is consistent. Marshmallow first, turmeric systemic, ginger for motility, the others supporting.
My wife went from severe symptoms to asymptomatic in 12 weeks. Completely. No relapses in over a year now.
And that's without prescription medications, without managing symptoms forever. The roots address the root cause, the body heals, and the symptoms resolve permanently.
The work of healing isn't quick. It's not single pill medicine. It's consistent, gentle, methodical practice. But that's not weakness. That's strength.
These 8 roots represent 8,000 years of accumulated knowledge. They work because they're not fighting your body. They're supporting your body's own healing mechanisms.
That's the legacy we're sharing, not roots alone. The practice of respect for your own body, patience with healing, trust in the wisdom that's been passed down.